Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with The Last Huntsman Outdoors here. This is going to be a EDC detailed breakdown. I did a short a little bit ago and it got all the like chin jiggling, loser, beta male, just degenerate trash triggered, and so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a second video on it, but this one's just gonna be a little bit longer. I'm gonna kind of detailed break down why and what I carry and how I carry it and all that stuff. So let's check out my EDC breakdown. All right, so one of my main things here is I like to keep everything concealed. I don't like broadcasting what all I have on me, and you know, because I carry this on a day-to-day basis. I have this on me if I'm out on the farm, I have this on me if I'm out in the woods here, and I even have this on me when I'm at work. So you know, as low profile as I can go is what I like to do. And you know, I'm a fairly lean dude, so just a t-shirt can conceal a lot for me. However, more often than not, I'm wearing like a plaid button-up shirt, because a plaid button-up shirt, in my opinion, does conceal things very well. So we'll just kind of break things down. All right, so on my belt is a Hank's leather gunfighter belt. Now, a few questions that people was asking is, why do I have it off to the side like this instead of straight down the middle? So the reason why I have it off to the side is because if you have your buckles straight down the middle like normally, then your buckle starts kind of sticking out a lot farther, and so then when you have your shirt over it, then you have this like bulge just sticking out from your buckle. Draws more attention to that. Like when people start seeing a bulge or something, then that's when, you know, things start becoming obvious. Of course, that doesn't affect, you know, the way I have to do my business and stuff. It's still basically the same thing. In my pockets, carry Demco folder. Now, I've bounced around several pocket knives, but honestly, this Demco 80 20.5, which I do have a full review coming on this knife. But this is probably my favorite folder. It's a very just utilitarian type of blade. I really like that shark lock. It's super smooth. And, you know, I'm not a big folder fidget type of guy, but it is kind of fun. And honestly, feels fairly great in hand. This one is the OS 10A model, but you know what, honestly, I've never had any issues with it. It holds an edge decently well. I've used it for a lot of tasks, and that shark lock is not only very smooth, but it's also fairly strong. Also in my pocket here, flashlight I carry is Streamlight Macro Stream. This one, I like it a lot. It's slim, it fits in my pocket decently, and it's not like some big bulky thing or anything like that. And I could recharge it. So, you know, and honestly, it doesn't take long for it to recharge. Also in the same pocket, here, we'll kind of get you guys. In the same pocket here, I also have a Bic lighter and just some chapstick. Now, one other thing is I would carry a Leatherman in this pocket. That Leatherman is gone. I have no idea where it went to. It disappeared. I think I lost it at work. So there's that. So I need to get another Leatherman at some point. I'm looking for one that's kind of not as big. I had the Leatherman rebar. I'd like one that's kind of smaller, and I kind of got a few ideas. I don't have the money like I used to have, so you know, I think we're all feeling that crunch a little bit. Now, I do carry a fixed blade on me. One I'm currently carrying, and I'm really liking it, is the White River Knives Ursus Cub. Feels amazing in hand. This is almost like the perfect EDC knife. I have like a handful of knives that are like just that perfect size of a EDC fixed blade. Now, why do I carry a fixed blade as well as a pocket knife? One, just in case if I ever get in God's green earth like this type of situation, I have something a little bit more robust and reliable. And also, I did a video a little bit ago of why to EDC a fixed blade. I think it's something along those lines. And I kind of go into a little bit more detail on why to carry a fixed blade. And you know, a few reasons I'll mention here is, one, they're just simpler to use, less things that can go wrong with them. But also, if you're like wearing gloves or winter gloves or something like that, they're easier to draw and deploy and use than trying to mess around with a folding mechanism, especially when you have gloves on. So that's a few reasons why I carry a fixed blade. Now, I did have some people like ask, why don't I carry it on my left side so I could draw it just in case if I'm like trying to protect my gun or something like that. And that does work, and if that works for you and your training and all that, then go for that. However, the way I kind of think about it is, one, my gun, and we'll get into this little conversation in a bit, but my gun is on my appendix. So it's not exactly the easiest thing for somebody to get to begin with. But secondly, if I am in a grappling type of situation and that becomes a potential problem, I could always defend a gun with the left hand and draw the knife with the right hand. So I don't know why like simple common sense stuff like that don't comprehend. I guess if you're a loser chin jiggler on a comment section, then you know you don't actually do anything in real life and common sense doesn't really apply to you. But you know, that's just kind of my thoughts. Also, speaking of the fixed blade on my right side here, 99% of the times I'm not gonna be in some like chaotic situation where I'm having to like defend my life with a fixed blade. Most of the times I'm just going to be using it for a utility tool too. So that's part of the reason why I also carry it on my right side. Now, the way I carry my fixed blade is I tuck it into my pants, and I have an ulti clip that I clip it onto the pants, and then I just have the belt covering it up. So even like, I mean, I'm wearing just a t-shirt. I'm a slim guy. I'm right at 6 foot tall and about 140 pounds. So, you know, it conceals fairly well. Now, speaking of concealment, let's talk about the gun. Well, actually, let's talk about the holster. The holster I'm using, we'll just pull the whole thing out. This is T-Rex arms. I think this is the sidecar holster. I have kind of some, I really like and kind of hate this holster at the same time. I do think overall it's a great holster. So if you're kind of like debating on one, I'd say just go ahead and get it. But there is a couple little design issues, and I think I'm gonna have to do like a full, like more detailed review on this of like some of my complaints on this holster, because me personally, I feel like they have like too many like just tactical edges on here that doesn't actually really need to be on there, and I feel like they can like slim this whole thing down and it would be a lot more comfortable. For the most part it is comfortable, but just every great once in a while it just, one of these edges here will just be jabbing into you, and it's like they don't need all that. The pistol is a good old trusty Glock 26. Yes, I do have a round in the chamber. Yes, it is ready to go. My finger's straighten off the trigger, and I'm out in the middle of the woods. So you safety queens can be okay there. So the Glock 26, in my honest opinion, is probably the most underrated concealed carry 9mm pistol that there is. I know a lot of people's really like hyped up in the Hellcats and the SIG P365s and all that stuff, but really when you kind of look back into it, the Glock 26 did what those pistols are trying to do back in the 90s. And you know, I'm not just a Glock fanboy, but the reason why I just keep going back to Glock is because they work, they're simple, I can shoot them great. And one thing that I really like with the Glock 26, and I got lint and stuff all over this thing, and you know, it's still just fine. But one thing I like about the Glock 26 is it still gives me a full grip, you know, especially with the extended little magazine on there. It gives me a full grip. It's not as big and bulky as a Glock 19. And a lot of people will say, well, a Glock 19 is about the same size. But when you carry it every single day, the size actually does, you start to notice the size. And I sometimes will carry a Glock 19, but and the same holster works for my Glock 19, which is nice. But about 99% of the times I'm going to have the Glock 26 on me, just because I shoot this pistol great, and quite frankly, I just find it's a lot more comfortable to carry on me. And so with that being said, I have one mag in the pistol, and in my right pocket here, I carry one more spare mag, and that's the 15 round magazine, which of course obviously works just fine with this pistol. Now, another thing that I like about the 26 is because it takes the full-size double-stacked magazines. If I'm like traveling or something and I have my like 9mm carbine with me, I could interchange magazines with my concealed carry pistol as I do my carbine. So that's something else that I really like about the Glock 26. All right, and then finally, in my pockets, I have my good old trusty keychain. I got a wallet in there, but I mean, who cares about a wallet? Got a couple different vehicle keys on here. I also keep a ferro rod on here, so if need be, with my fixed blade with a sharp spine, I can get a fire going if just for whatever reason the Bic ain't working. So that's my EDC. That's kind of my detailed breakdown of my current configuration of what and how I everyday carry. Now, here's what I'm going to kind of set as a caveat here. Do what works for you. You know, if everybody has their own way of doing things, and this is just what works for me with my training, my, you know, expertise, where my location is, what part of the country I'm in, and all that stuff, then this is what works for me. If you don't like what I have, then do your own thing, all right? But with all that being said, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.